people, welcome. I hope it should be going to the correct one. Did not have my phone ready when I did this, so I'm hoping this is going to my correct page. How come it never comes up when you want it to? Whoa, here it is. I'm Julie Kite, welcome. Returning people and anybody new. I'm a few minutes late. I didn't realize I hadn't eaten all day, and my blood sugar plummeted at the last moment, so I had to hurry up and get something into me. So I don't... this always takes so long. I should always have the phone thing ready. I should know this by now. Just have the phone thing ready. And I've realized that with the phone that I have to basically log out and then log back in before it opens up. There it goes. Okay, yep. We're live. All right, good. Yay! Now if I can get it to catch up with me. Okay. Welcome everybody. This is Julie Kite. JulieKite.com. www.juliekight.com is my blog, and you can find all the info about everything. And obviously you're on my Facebook page, unless you're watching this on YouTube. I will, if you're not watching this live, you can watch the replay, which is, whoops, sorry about that. Trying to get all the little cat hairs off my desk as usual. You can watch the replay later if you missed the beginning or anything like that. So, welcome. Today I had put up first off, I am sorry about last week. It was very last minute that we left to go out of town to a friend's house that is 3 hours away for Thanksgiving. So, that was kind of a very last minute thing, and of course it changed all my plans. So I'm going to go ahead and switch the screen over to me, if I can bring this up. Haha, there we go. My switcher, I hope it switched. Yes, it did. Aha, it did switch. I'm learning the little buttons because it's above me, so I can't see what I switch onto. So, but yeah, we left last minute for Thanksgiving. Get off of that. To go to a friend's house, so that was fun and delightful, but I got sick, so I've spent the last 5 or 6 days sick. I still have the residual stuffed up nose. Mostly it's just been nausea, stomach very upset for most things. I had a flu shot earlier this year, so I don't know if it was just like I got hit with the flu and my body was like, well, you've had this shot, so we're just not going to let it be as bad. So, it was weird. Because normally when you get a cold, your stomach doesn't get upset. So, so welcome. So I had posted what we were going to do today for this. I'm going to show you, in the scrapbooking world, there's something, and it's gone into journaling a lot too, planning. Something called the December Daily, and you probably have heard about it, and it's where a lot of people, and some people, they start it Thanksgiving Day, some people start it December 31st, some people go until just the 25th of December, and some people, like me, go until January 1st, because I always like to include all that, because we're usually at my parents' house in California with all the family, and we're doing a whole bunch of things. Don't mind, I'm testing a nail polish, and so far, it did better. You know, it chipped, it did better. And I forgot to take it off before I did this. So, it looks really good. I mean, it's chipped, but it looks better than I thought it was going to after 5 days. So, I usually go until January 1st because usually we celebrate my husband's birthday, who is a New Year baby, and my father's, who's the 4th, on January 1st. So, we usually do those 2 days into one day. So, that's why I usually include that in there. But, so it's really up to you when you want to start, when you want to end. But it's normally called a December Daily. I believe it was Allie Edwards who came up with the name and started the whole thing several years ago, 2010, 2012, something. I can't remember when her first one started, and it's just taken off from there. A lot of different companies offer pocket scrapbooking. It's usually how it's done is pocket scrapbooking. A lot of different companies offer the cards, the numbers for each day, themes. If you go on Pinterest and look at it, there will be theme lists of what, each day you should focus on. Some people do it they'll do one theme each day, or people will do it just like normal pocket scrapbooking, where whatever happening that day that they do. It does not have to be Christmas related. So if you already do Hanukkah or whatever, you can do it that way. I know it's a little sadder for people in the southern hemisphere, because where they're opposite of us, it's summer for them right now. And all of our stuff, of course, major of the scrapbooking stuff is made here in North America. And it's always usually cold, snowy, red, green with other colors brought in. So for them, it's kind of sad, because they're having hot and they don't want something with snow on it. Of course, a lot of them don't even know what snow is. So it's sad for them. But I do know there's several companies opening up down there, which is kind of cool to help expand that. So I just want to show you today, there's different ways of adapting this, using different products. You don't even have to purchase cards, the pocket cards for this. You can do a whole bunch of different things. I do have the Stampin' Up! Memories and More Santa's Workshop cards, which regrettably, when I bought these for this idea, were not discontinued at the time, but now they are. So I will show them. If you happen to have them, you can use the idea, but I'm going to show you different ways of just using cardstock and designer series paper, or making your own to do these different techniques. Now, Stampin' Up! I am going to show you an example of one when I switch the camera again, of one I did 2014, December 2014. That was before I joined as a demonstrator with Stampin' Up!, before I was using Stampin' Up! Products. So what you see in this album is nothing in it is Stampin' Up! So, but I have an order coming. It hasn't come yet. It was supposed to come. It hasn't come yet, of the album and the pocket pages that I'm using. But I will show you, I have a ton of these little pocket pages from different manufacturers, and I hate to buy stuff when I already have stuff to use. So I will show you what the designs that Stampin' Up! Carries. The configurations are just exactly like these, so there's no difference. So if you don't have any, go ahead and order the Stampin' Up! Ones. The shop link is right on my page. I will also, tomorrow when I put the blog post up, have a link to all the items that Stampin' Up! Carries for pocket scrapbooking if you do want to do December daily. It's not too late. A lot of people actually do this in January after the holidays are over, because they're so busy during the holidays they can't do this. They'll just collect everything as it goes and then do it sometime in January, sometimes through the whole next year, depending on how busy their lives are, to get these put together. There is the journaling aspect, where people use what's a traveler's notebook, and each day put a little photo and talk about what the day they did and stuff like that. So that's a whole nother option, and I did do that. I actually did that last year, which was kind of cool. Last year was a little hectic. At the end of November, I had a mammogram done, annual mammogram. Something came back suspicious. They did the 3D mammogram. Still didn't like what they were seeing. Did the ultrasound. Found something highly suspicious and ordered a biopsy. The ultrasound in the 3D was done December 8th. We were leaving December 20th. I think it was the 20th. To go to California to my parents for the holidays. Actually, I think it was the 21st. Oh, it was either one or the other. My biopsy was that morning that we were leaving. So most of December, I was pretty much a mess up to that biopsy. Scared to death of what was going on. And I so recommend getting an annual mammogram, people. Please, please, women, men too, get it done. because what they saw in me, I could not feel. It was only a centimeter big, and it was so far into the tissue, there was no way I ever could have felt it. So we had no idea. But good news is, I ended up not getting the biopsy because the doctors, and there was 2 of them conferring on this, they did not want to do a biopsy, stick me with this giant needle, and I have pictures of this giant needle, if they did not know what they were sticking it into. It did not have the form of something bad. It wasn't a defined thing, and so they decided to put off the biopsy, come back 3 months, do another one, come back 3 months, do another. So I've already had, I need to do my annual again. I see my doctor next week to set up for my annual. And it's never changed. And they actually looked back at films, and this is another advantage having them done. They looked back at films and noticed it was there, but nothing ever cued on it. So it's never changed size. It's never changed its location. It's not growing. It's not doing anything. It's just sitting there. So they're not worried about it for now. So, but as cancer cells and stuff go, it could, anything could change at any last minute. There is no immediate history of breast cancer in my family. Now, my father was adopted, but we know their family. My parents are real close with them. Because my dad does have cancer, but his has all been environmental from being a firefighter. They did the genetic testing in their family, and there's the genetic marker for breast cancer does not exist in that bloodline, in their family genetics. So that's actually a plus on my side. So, my husband, my son, why is my son texting me? What is my email? Okay. That was interesting. Hold on a second, because I think if he wants that, he wants to show me something. Oh, I think because he got a new phone, he doesn't have it. Oops, where's that? He's going to the doctor's today to get a crown put on. So, next week, exciting enough, speaking of my son, they've invited me to go to their gender thing, the ultrasound, to find out what the baby is. So I'm like freaking excited about that. So, there we go. Okay, we're back. So I am extremely, there you go, flip phone. Extremely excited about going. This is not working how it's supposed to work. So, okay, there we go, we're back. So, I do extremely highly recommend, if there's a chance, any history of breast cancer, any type of cancer in your family, women, men, get a breast exam. Please do yours monthly. And like in my case, I never felt it. I didn't even know it was there. So mammograms, you have to get them. You have to get them. So last year, this December, I wasn't in the greatest of moods to do a whole pocket scrapbooking thing for my December daily, which is why I did it in a journal, which is very private because of the emotions I was going through at the time. Okay. That's my son texting me. He's talking about my daughter-in-law. So, alrighty. So let's get on to this. I do want to show, I meant for this to go up on, where's it at? Today's blog, but I totally forgot it last night because being sick, I've been getting really tired. But I wanted to show you a card that is going to go up. I hope to finish it and get it up today. The blog, not the card. This is a card. And of course the light's going to blow it out completely. There it is. It's backwards. But this is a wreath I made, and I'll show it better in the other picture. Look at that 3D. Isn't that cool? This is a wreath I made. It's not that hard. Actually, it looks like a lot of work. The most work that's there is the paint and cutting all the little pieces out. And all it is, and I will get the stamp set it goes with, is the Ready for Christmas, and this is in the annual catalog, and the Christmas staircase framelits. They're not in a bundle. You have to buy them separately. So if you just wanted to buy the framelits to do I think they're thinlits. If you just want to buy the thinlits to do the wreath, you can, and use whatever other sentiment you have. That's fine. You don't have to buy the stamp set. And I also used, in the holiday catalog, I used the Vegas Gold Shimmer Paint. This stuff is so cool. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. But all I did was cut a whole bunch of these little things out. I have a whole pile here. Of the bigger ones. And of, oh, the tiny little ones. And then and you can see the gold on them. I took a paintbrush, just a normal paintbrush. Good one with longer bristles, because you got to do this with it. Dipped it in the paint, got real messy. Took either your thumb or your finger, you can use one. I cover your workstation with lots of paper towels, something down. I even splattered my laptop and it was a foot and a half away. So, and you just kind of go and straight down onto them, and it gives them that splatter effect with the gold, which is really, really, really cool. And then I'll have pictures on how I did this. The thing in the center, and this is both textured with the subtle dynamic textured impressions embossing folder. Boy, that's a name in itself. But what I did is I cheated, and I cut, and I just had, there it is. I cut a circle with the layering circles, and did the reef on it, and then I embossed it first, embossed the circle first. Did the reef on it, and then put the whole thing onto the card. So it actually looks like it's one piece. The background looks like one piece, but this is actually a circle on top of this base to make it easier to make a reef, so it would end up round. And I have a couple pictures showing how I do the process. It's really cool. I'll have those up on the blog too. And then I just put on some of the mini gold sequin trim, which is so pretty. And then I took my real red dark Stampin' Blend, and I colored some of the clear faceted gems, and I put on there. There's also the the red rhinestones, and then there's a couple of the metallic, I love that half peeled stuff, the metallic little dots on there too. The gold ones. They're really, really hard to see, and it's real hard because that light's going to blow them out, but they're on there. I didn't want to do a lot of those because the leaves are so gold. And you can vary how much paint you want on your pretty little leaves. You don't have to do any all if you don't want to. I just thought it was real pretty. And then on the inside, I just did a sentiment and colored, stamped in the corners, and did that. I'll show it with this camera so it's the right way and not as blinding with this light. I think I need to put a lower wattage light bulb in that one. So, I'm out of breath. That's what I get for being sick. But it was really easy. I just used the multi-purpose glue, glued them down. Just glue them at the very base on the big ones, because the big ones make up the most of the wreath, and then I just stuck the little ones in where it was a little bare. But I only glued at the very, very base part of this, right back here, because they kind of all tuck under in each other. And because if you glued the whole thing, then you wouldn't have any way to tuck the next one in. Especially when you get to the end and you're kind of stucking the last one under the first one. So don't do that. I learned that lesson. And then I did, this is a card that's coming up. I used our Sprig Punch, which will be back in stock pretty soon. And I made this cute little, and it's got the gold on it too. Cute little thing. It's going to be part of a, like, mistletoe. And of course there's cat hair on it as usual. Oh my gosh. It's going to be like a little sprig on a card. So that one, I got that card coming up. I'm going to work on that this weekend. So that's why my blog's been a little missy. This, not a lot of posts on it. Does that because I've been sick. So when you're sick and you don't feel like crafting, you're sick. That's how bad. And I usually craft every single day, and I didn't even want to be in my craft room. That's how sick I was. Okay, back to the pocket scrapbooking, and we're going to flip our thing. Real quickly, back here, up on this, not these two boxes, but just this stuff and not those two. But this whole stuff right here is all my stuff for my December dailies that I have collected over the years. This is empty Cricut cartridges cases. I have them somewhere else, and then that's some embellishments and stuff from scrapbooking. But all this right here is December daily stuff. That's how much I've collected. So that's why I haven't bought anything this year except for the Memories and More cards, because I just thought they were so cute. And my paper, oh, my nose is running now. I thought I got that stopped. I should have taken some cold medicine. The paper, which I think is discontinued as well, the Santa Signpost one, the DSP, specialty designer series paper. I think it has been discontinued too. I haven't checked. It was on back order because I ordered some at the very beginning of this month, and it's just not being sent to me. So it was really on back order. A lot of times the reason why they discontinue is because the manufacturer can't get them in stock back into Stampin' Up! In time and sent out to the customers before the holidays. And so that's why they just go ahead and just, it will come up saying discontinued on if you try to put in the item number on the order page. So let's get started on this. I'm going to show you. I'm going to go ahead and flip this screen. Hopefully it flips right. And look at that. It did. Oh my gosh, I'm perfect. I'm going to go ahead and take off the bottom banner though, so that's not in my way. And it's always weird because I always have to judge how far I can see something, but hopefully I have this in the screen enough to where you can see it. So first off, I'm going to show you, I'm actually going to stand up while I do this. Whoops, echo. I'm going to show you the card a little bit. See how much that sparkles. I got to turn this onto me. But there's the card the right way. And there, you can see all the, how it's all layered together. And it's really not that hard to do. Just most of the time is, excuse me, splattering the paint and die cutting all the little pieces. And it's really, because with these thinlits, you actually get two, let me bring them up, two dies of the big one, as the stamps fall out, two dies of these, and 3 of the little ones. So it actually, camera, actually doesn't take that long to cut them out, which is nice. And I highly recommend painting them after you die cut them, because if you paint the paper before you die cut them, sometimes you miss a lot of the really neat blobs, which I wanted. So I waited until afterwards. I learned that lesson too. So there's some information for you. So there's that card. Okay, this is, and these are going to be, of course, they're going to be hard to see. These are the clear pocket scrapbook pages. And it's called Pocket. You can, it's got so many words, you know, Project Life with Becky Higgins. But it's mainly called Pocket Scrapbooking because these are little pockets that you stick stuff into. And the ones that Stampin' Up! Has, there's a 6x8, and I think there's only one of those. There's 2 of the ones that are 4x6. It's really going to be really hard to see this because they're shiny. There's going to be 3 each of ones that have the 2 3x4s on top and a 4x6 on the bottom, and then there's another one that's just, it's flipped. This where this one's at the top, and then 3 of where there's 4 3x4s. So that's what is included in that pack. I can't talk now. So I'm going to set these aside. I just had this sitting on here. You can use it. I'll show you the DSP. But this is move my blocks out of the way. My December daily, and I did not color the outside of the album because I just liked the way the album looked to begin with. This was my December daily from December of 2014, and remember, this was before I was doing Stampin' Up, so none of the stuff in here, and this is on my checklist of all the stuff I wanted to do. This was before I was doing anything Stampin' Up, so nothing in here is Stamping Up, so please mind that. But I always start them off with a calendar for that December, and I hope it doesn't look, it's not too shiny. Okay. I always start them off with a calendar for that month, so I know when each day, and you can find these on Pinterest, or you can make one of your own. This is decorated up, like this is a die cut where I did some glitter on it. This is a stamp. This is actually on there. That's something else I added to it to make it mine. But I liked knowing when each day of the week was, and this was really cool. And it was a great starter page to it. A lot of people will have this, and like on the back, they'll have their intentions with their album. But I just did that, and then I did a 6x8 on the back. This isn't the first day. This is the beginning of it. And I just, you know, these are all different cards that I decorated. This was, it's not going to be easy to do considering this thing lays out really big. I will try my best. You can see that pretty good. It's looking good in the picture. My little I have to keep my little Pepsi caps and stuff in my plant. You can see those too. But this, let's do this. If I can get this on here a little better. Okay. I took a picture of the album that I was using. This is the first year I did a December daily. And so that's when I wrote, this is my first day of my beautiful, this was day 1. And that's what that 1 is for, is to represent day 1. I had a list of something I wanted to do each day. Sometimes I followed it, sometimes I didn't. We were again at my parents' house. This is some stuff that my mom made. This was day 2. It was something red, and that's what I was doing, the bows on the doors, the decorations, and then I talked about them. Wherever the cards were, I tried to add some kind of embellishment to them. These were some candy canes I took of. This was, and you can do this perfectly with our gold striped bags. You just punch holes in them, decorate them up a little bit. You can add stuff into them, extra pictures or something you have. And these were just the candy canes at the store. This was an ornament of all us kids that my mother had bought and had our names put on. This one's mine that my mom bought because it represents me because I love Christmas and as a cat. This one I didn't do the journaling on, but it was something silver. So, and each day has a number that corresponds with, this is December 5th, you know. This was December 6th. December 7th, and this was wrapping gifts and the gifts after. This was our little tree. Since we were going to California, we just had a little 4-foot tree. And some pages I did, you know, the 6x8s in, some, you know, and they varied through the entire book. This is one of my pages I love the best. This is my top 10 Christmas movie shows, you know, whether it's a TV show or a movie. My number 1 is Christmas Vacation. Always has been, always will be. Number 2 is kind of a tie with Christmas with the Cranks and the Santa Claus. So there's day 9, you know, so it doesn't necessarily have to be him. If nothing Christmassy happened that day, just add something in like this, a top 10. Later in here I have, there's 2 pictures that are missing. I have and here, there's just cute little ones. You cut these. Here's the star that was on my tree in my room. Songs, I didn't put the songs in yet. But I did top 10 songs too, you know, so you just go through, and this was the Christmas, my husband's favorite thing. He loves the Grinch. So it was something green that day. So I was doing the hat on my little snowman, the Grinch, and the Christmas wires. Here's the hot cocoa, you know. So, you know, you don't have to do something Christmassy every day if you don't want to do something Christmassy, because I don't think anybody out there has something Christmassy every single day in the month of December. So please don't feel like you have to, because if you do, it's just going to be a huge, huge burden later. And that is absolutely no fun. So I'm going to sit back down now. Because standing for very long really, really hurts my back. So, and I just did it. Back up, phone. Well, what happened here? Not now. Are we still up? Of course, now my phone's not working. I saw it go off. So I want to make sure it's still running. Oh. I was feeling really good yesterday, and then today, boom, it's like 100 times worse than I felt the last 2 days. So being sick is not fun. Come on, phone, catch up with me. I want to make sure this is working and it didn't cut off, because I hate doing 2 separate videos. Because people watch one and then not the other. Okay, let's bring this back up again. And please excuse the sniffling. Okay, it is still going. Good. Thank goodness. Hi, Annette. I'm glad you're here. I'm not just talking to myself. So, alright, that's still going. So, I wanted to give you some ideas since the cards, and you could use, you know, the other Memories of Morris cards that are in the annual catalog, but I had shown these before. And one thing I always do when I get these is I always write on the back the colors that match the cards in here, so I'm not always having to look back to see what they are. But these were the cards for, let me get some of each kind, that were in the memories more. Any of you happen to have these? Go right ahead, because what's really cool is these included in here some really cool elements. Yeah, these little stickers, they're highly glittered. They included the days all the way up to 31, because a lot of people do go until 31, but they included all these little, like, and there's just little stickers that you pull off. If I can get them off right, there you go. They're laser cut and they just pull right off, and you can stick them right onto all your little pages, which I thought was a really, really cool thing that they added. And then just different kinds of all different little things to do the pages with. And please don't feel like you're limited to just, you know, using these elements. There's so much more you can use, you know, but oh, these are upside down. But, you know, some of the 4x6 cards, and I think you got 2 of every single one that was in the pack. So, and most of them are double-sided. I had shown these once before, and then the little 3x4 cards, which go both vertical or horizontal and vertical. When Project Life first started out in the beginning, everything was vertical, went this way. And then people started wanting to flip things around and stuff, and so cards started being designing both ways. So that's why they go both ways. You see these are the horizontal, and then you can just flip them. Most of them, you flip them at the opposite on the other side. Some, like this one, aren't. It's the same on both sides. You know, and if you have a card like this that you really want to use, but not the pocket that matches, you know, you can just put it on top of, you know, just frame it on top of a 4x6. You know, you could take this one, like this one, if you don't want it. Just put it like that. Make it real cute. So, please use your imagination. Totally think out of the box when you're doing this. Nothing is set in stone. It is completely up to how creative you want to be. Trust me. Oh my gosh, you can go so far out with this. But I do want to show a couple other things, stamp sets that you can use. And I think, except for the deer one, the other ones are in stock, I believe. I did not check before I did. I can actually do that right now. It's hard to tell because they don't show us in the inventory thing if these are discontinued or not. They just don't come up. So it's hard to tell if they're still in there or not. But I do know that the dashing deer are on back order. The framelets are on back order. Yeah, thinlets. They're until the middle of next month. But, you know, if you want to put this aside and not do it until January, that's perfectly fine. You can go do that. So, but, yeah, I don't see. You know, use ribbon. Use the sequins. Use any of the embellishment little thingies in the catalogs that you can for this. Make it any colors you want. Gosh, it does not have to be red and green. I don't know if I saw much, whoops, in this one. I don't think I did it much in this one. But the one I did the next year had pink in it, because I love pink. So, you know, just let your mind, you're not restricted in any way on this. Please understand that. There's no restrictions on any of this. Yeah, I don't see. But that doesn't mean that they're there. So, but, like this, the Farmhouse Christmas. You know, it's got these, and the eyes are a little bit smaller. These are at 95, so they're not too much bigger. But you can use these, you know, the little fence, you know, put it along. No, I put it down, I can't get it back up. You know, now that I put them away, you know, along the bottom. You just, you know, double cut it, match them up, you know. You can just put it along the bottom and decorate the heck out of this, you know. The tree. This is the one for the framelit for the car. The house, you know, stamp the house, cut the house out, make it look like your house if you want to. You know, you can make it one story. But imagination, all little bows would be adorable on a page. Especially coming out of the glimmer paper. You know, and the dashing deer was another one I thought you could do. even though these are on back order, if you don't plan on doing this until next year, you know, that's not a problem. These will, you know, all fit on these little pages. And you can just have a blast with the sentiments and everything. And then, of course, the one that matches the Santa's Workshop one is the Signs of Santa and the Santa Signpost framelits, you know. And if you have, by chance, gotten the DSP, which is the one I'm waiting for, Santa's Workshop, they have these framelits cut some of the things on that paper too. So you can cut those out and put them on your pages as well. And all these little sayings, most of them fit inside the little signs, which is really cute. These sayings fit inside these signs. So, you know, you can decorate the pages with this as well. Stamping, you know, there is really, truly, I want to emphasize, no limit on this whatsoever. On how to make these. So I'm just going to quickly move this out of the way. My throat's getting sore now. This is not fun. Oh, I'm going to need that, so I can't put that there. Normally that album sits behind my head when you see back there. It sits on that shelf with all those other albums. So, okay. So what we're going to do is I'm going to get out. I had some paper. I'll just grab another piece of Real Red. Get into the package. I didn't realize how out I was. I didn't want this cloudy off my desk before I got started. Because my cat is on my desk and I can't put stuff where she is. Call me Clover. I keep my 8.5 by 11 cardstock in a file cabinet to keep it out of the sun so it does not fade. And it's all put in there. Sometime I'll do a video and show you guys how I store this. It really helps tremendously a lot. Oops. Call me Clover. Come here. And a piece of Whisper White. Which, oh my gosh, I have to open up a new package. Scissors. Didn't realize I was out of Whisper White, so we'll just open up a new one. Okay. So I just want to show you real quickly how you can make up a card if you don't have any cards or don't wish to purchase any cards and just want to do all your own. So, okay, so we're going to get our Stampin' Trimmer, which I love. And yes, I have 3 blades on here, if you can see them. This one is the scoring blade, the lighter colored one. This one says old on it. This blade, I realized when you cut the glimmer in the foil paper, it wears this the blades on these down tremendously. So I take, when I put a new blade on, I took one of the old ones that came off, that's why it's old written on it, and this is the blade I specifically use for cutting any glimmer or foil or anything like that, which tears down the blade more. When this blade will get retired, it will go to that position and I'll write old on it and a new blade will come on. So, little tip for you guys. It makes a difference. Oh boy, does it make a difference. This blade lasts so much longer when you don't have to change it out. When you're not using it to cut the glimmer paper. Okay, I'm going to start by cutting this at 4, and then I'm going to cut it at 6, and yes, it's going to have a little tail on it. But that's okay. You can use this too. You can stamp on this and use it. And then I'm going to cut one that is at 3 inches by 4. Okay, you can use this too. So these are the 2 basic sizes for any of the pocket scrapbooking, the 4x6 and the 3x4. And you can, you know, like on the ones that cut, I'm going to cut a couple pieces of the Real Red and Call Me Clover. On the ones that, you know, you have the little tail at the end, you can overlap. So like with this one, since I cut it, I'm going to cut it at the 6. I'm going to then cut it at the right there. You know, if you want to like make this into a 3-inch, 3-inch card, you can just do that. Now it looks like a candy stripe. See, you know, you're not wasting anything. So please, please, you know, don't waste your paper at all. I'm going to cut this one at 3 inches by 4 inches. And one more time with the Calming Clover. And I just picked the basic red, white, green, you know, for Christmas. So I'm probably a little bit out of the frame, and I'm sorry. I didn't mean to be. It's just the cutting part is happening down here. So, but I just want to get these cut real quick. So, there we go. Okay. Alrighty. So, you know, this is just the basic sizes, you know, that you have. And there's all that one that is 6x8 if you want to use that for a front title page. You know, just cut your paper 6x8 and decorate it. So, but there you go. So I was going to show you how to do, where do my stamp set? Oh, they're over here. They're real cute. Oh gosh, I wish I had that paper to show you how this works. But I'm just going to color this up real quick. You know, and even though this is a different color, it still works in there too. So this is a part of the dashing along DSP that came back. And you can use it, you know, really cute on there with the white, make a little candy cane. So, you know, it's just, gosh, please, there's no limits to this at all. So we're going to quickly, I need Memento. We're going to do, and this would be really cool. I'm going to do like a little wish list page. I need my, will it fit on this block? Kind of, sort of. And I'm probably going to be out of the frame for just a second when I get that on my block. And normally I would do this on a separate piece of paper and do it, and you can if you want to add dimension, which is another thing. I liked texture and dimension on all my things. I really did. I wanted people to really look at it and go, oh my gosh, how'd you do that? How'd you do that? How'd you do that? I'm going to use this little square piece I have right here. If you are using, I don't know if I've shown this before, use with Stampin' Blends. The Memento, use with Stampin' Blends. The Stays On, which is right here, use with watercolor. The reason for that is this is a solvent-based ink. If you put the blends on this, because it is solvent-based, the blends will blend with the black ink. Same with this. This is a water-based dye ink. If you use the watercolors with this, it's obviously going to blend the black out too. So you got to use the opposite with the opposite. And that's why they're labeled. So I don't forget. So we're going to spray down my scrub, which I highly recommend getting. It is the best thing. Okay, we're going to ink up, and if I'm out of the picture, I'm sorry. I need to learn the boundaries of this camera. Not quite. His little feet need to be really... I don't think I've used a stamp before, so I'm going to stamp off for a second. Clean it. Make sure, of course there's a cat hair on it as usual. Always cat hairs. There's always cat hairs on my stamps. There's never a day without a cat hair. Is there? Okay, here we go. I just want to quickly stamp this. And if you don't feel like coloring it, you don't have to color it. I just want to show you what it looks like. And we're just going to... And it doesn't have to be perfect since we're going to cut this out. And we sell the refills for this ink pad too, so it's real easy just to re-ink it. Oh, here comes my kitty. She's decided to see what I'm doing. There goes my kitty. Always likes to make a cameo appearance on my videos. I think she always has. It's been one of them at least. I keep my door shut when I'm doing this so the cats don't come in and run through and yell and scream, and my husband doesn't walk in when I'm in the middle of doing a live. There's actually a sign on my door too. So I keep the door closed, and so she's kind of locked in here. So I don't think she's happy about that. Actually, I think, did she go to the door? Yeah. Real quickly, let me take a break. I need to go let her out. You want to go out? Take her. Come on. Oh, you don't want to go because your arch enemy's on the other side. Okay. We have a couple cats. Oh, here she comes again. We have a couple cats that don't get along. And her one that she majorly hates the most was sitting on the other side of the door, so she didn't want to go out. Give that a second to dry. But sometimes when and mine is really inky, it takes a few more seconds for the black ink, especially the solvent, you know, even though it says fast drying, it is fast drying, but when the pad's a little inkier than usual, it takes a little bit longer because the white cardstock is so smooth for it to dry. There we go. Okay, I have Real Red Blend, light and dark, and the Calming Clover, light and dark. And we're just going to color him away. This is, I need the dark first. I always start with the dark, and you should do the dark when you're using the blend. You should do the dark along any crease where a shadow would be. You know, like under his beard. I'm just going to color that whole thing red. You know, along his belt line. Oh, gosh, I hope I'm in camera. Along his belt line, you know, where it's going to be a little darker, you know, where it kind of shadows, like under his belt buckle. I think that's all it's going to be red. Maybe in the lower part of his jacket. And then I take the light. And I usually like using the brush end. It's usually easy, especially if you're doing bigger areas, it's easiest. And then I take the light and I start in the dark and work down so that it blends and it looks, you know, you don't have that line effect. And I just, whoops, I got that. It's okay. And I just kind of keep going in the dark a little bit so it looks like it's blended down a bit. And it goes to lighter. And we're going to do the same thing up here. I start with the dark section, work out. Natural highlights and shadows. Just like that. And then I'm going to do his buckle. Actually, I need a yellow, don't I? I need a daffodil. I highly recommend the blends. I mean, it's just... Is this, yeah, dark daffodil. They color so beautifully. And most, we have most, not all of the Stampin' Up! Colors, but most of them are available in the blends. And I'm not gonna shadow this one because it's just his buckle. And if you want to, I don't know, it'd be kind of hard to emboss on that, but you could do emboss it too. So this was the dark daffodil, the light. Oh, I forgot part of his sleeve. Right here. Now, Stampin' Up! Does sell one that's ivory for skin tone, but I found that I like, because I can shadow with these, the petal pink. So I actually prefer petal pink in the light and the dark for any light skin tone. It gives a little bit more of a peachy undertone. I'll show you what card I did. I have not posted this one on my blog yet, but it's the cute little elves. And you can, this would easily be one of your, you can make this into one of the cards too. Emboss, you know. This will probably going up. Something got under there. Stuck to the glue. That's funny. It's a piece of one of my leaves. This will be going on my blog next week. But see, you know, the skin tone, I mean, it looks skin tone, even though it's petal, you know, it's perfect skin tone color. And you can see how I shadowed around their crown and stuff, and I even colored all the little presents. And so this will be on my blog next week to show. And it's got the glimmer paper at the bottom, so it looks like they're walking through the snow. And it looks like this little elf is giving this little elf a present to add into his little wagon. So, and then I did the inside. So, you know, it was cute. This is Poppy Parade and Coastal Cabana. So, but that will be on my blog next week. You'll get to see that. So that's why I preferred using the petal pink, because the ivory only comes one, you know, base, one color. And I liked having the shadows with the, on this, you know, especially when you're like going around his mustache and stuff. You can do a little darker. His little nose, you can do a little darker. Like the base of his ears. That's all his beard. You know. And this one I'm going to do a little fine line. That's why I like this brush tip under his hat. And then we take the light, which is really, really light, and we just color in the rest. And I kind of like color it just to make it blend real well. I color the whole area. Now, you see how good that looks? I mean, that looks to me more like a skin tone than the ivory does. But you can use the ivory if you just like the ivory. But I have definitely preferred the petal pink. And we're going to use the light to do his little hands. And I think this one we just see his thumb. Okay. I had that little boo-boo, but that's okay. Oh, perfect. And what you can do is you can use the shimmer frost and do his hat, which would be really, really cool. I'll show you real quickly how to do that. Shake this up. I use a point paintbrush when it comes to a point, a long bristle. It's a little easier. Open this up. And usually I just use what's in the cap. Oh, I need to get this wet. Here, I need a piece of paper towel. There we go. Get the bristles wet a little bit. I think I heard my husband outside my door. And when you get it wet like that, it blends out a little better, so it's not, if you happen to go in and doesn't see it over the lines. And you just color it in, and it's going to take a few seconds for this to dry, obviously. But you can see his little eyebrows are in his brim of his hat here. So if you want to kind of paint around them, you can. This paint doesn't cover, see, it doesn't cover them up because I'm not putting it on thick. It's kind of transparent, so you will see them through it, which is kind of cool. But just like that. And it looks cute. So I gotta clean off my paintbrush because since it is paint, it will dry. But that's what I do with this. I turn off notifications on my phone, at least they don't beep. But it takes a few seconds for the shimmer to dry before we die cut it. I gotta move all this stuff out of my way for a second. And this is this is kind of funny. This is the mini gold sequin trim. I couldn't find the beginning, so I had to take it all off the spool. Actually, I glued this back on because I am planning to wind this all back up. I actually had to take the side off. What had happened is what I thought was the beginning of the thing was the beginning, but it got tucked under the thing so bad I couldn't pull it out. So I had to truly unwind all of this, take it apart and unwind it to get this out. It's kind of, so it looks really pretty actually, kind of a, but this stuff is really neat. So that's why it's sitting like this. I got to rewind it back up again and put it up on my pegboard. So, is this dry? And if you do it thin, it dries. It's already dry. Okay, and it gives a really cool shimmer. So, I'm going to move my phone out of my way. It's sitting on my big shot. Get out my big shot. Put this on here. And I'm probably out of the frame. I have the magnetic. And I had this before Stampin' Up, so it's not the one Stampin'. It's the exact one the Stampin' Up has, but it's just not labeled Stampin' Up. So, I didn't want to buy a whole brand new one if I already had the exact same thing. But I do highly recommend getting the Big Shot. I love the Big Shot. That one I truly, truly, truly adore. And I usually put it straight down so it doesn't move. Since it's a framelit, I'm framing something. So I don't want the framelit, which it did. I gotta readjust it. I gotta bring it a little closer to me to readjust so it cuts it out straight. There we go. Okay. Get my big head in the shot. Put it on the Big Shot and cut it out. And there we have a cute little Santa that you could, at this point, take one of your little red one. And if you wanted to, emboss on this, you could. Put your little Santa on there. You can pop him up with, I'll go ahead and put dimensionals on him because that's what I'm going to use him for. Is for this. I'm a dimensional. I love my dimensionals. I use them. I use a ton of them because I don't like low spots on any of my cards. I have them in the minis too, in the little places, because I do not like low spots when somebody has a card. And I even take my scissors and cut. Do not waste any part of this. This is gold. You know, cut the little pieces off the sides for those tiny little areas that you need something a little bit smaller. I'm not going to take the backings off because this isn't what I'm going to put it on. But you can see, you know, you add a little dimension on there. You know, you can have this, and then, you know, you can cut a smaller piece of this or use the one that's the 3x4. Put it over there, you know, right at the top. Handwriting, please, people use. I know a lot of people don't like their handwriting. They think it's, you know, just the worst thing in the world. And they type everything out and then put it on their stuff. Please use your handwriting. Generations from now, we're going to go back and they're going to think, oh my gosh, my great-great-grandmother, grandma, this is her handwriting. This is what their handwriting looked like. And they're going to so appreciate that more than you type in anything out. Okay? They're not going to look at it and go, oh my gosh, what horrible handwriting they had back then. You know? No. They're going to be more appreciative of the fact that you wrote on it with your actual handwriting. And trust me, I do genealogy. And nothing more appreciative than when I look at cards and stuff and it's their actual handwriting. It means more to me than anything else. So please, just use your handwriting. You know, don't worry about the way it looks. People truly are not judging what your handwriting looks like. So, you know, you can do this and write wish lists at the top and then have like 1 through 5, 1 through whatever, 10. And, or you can put the names and what they want next to it, you know, what they're asking for Santa for Christmas. And then maybe put some decoration up here. You know, we have the doilies. We have, oh my gosh, so many embellishments you can put on these things. You know, all this, plus all this stuff, you know, from the holiday catalog. These are the clear faceted gems that I colored with this one right here. And it makes it red. I'll even do it right in front of you. You know, you just take it, run it around the edge, just do it, you know, kind of get it all on there. And it just take a few seconds to dry. And ba-bam, you have a beautiful, now red faceted gem. Great thing in the world. Greatest thing. You can use, you know, the pearls. You can, there are so many, I'm trying to go through all my things over here. You know, we have the gold ones too, you know. Yeah, you can color these too. It may have a little bit different undertone, but you can color these too. These were the ones I used on the wreath. They're real red. But, you know, and you can even color, if I can find them, the basic rhinestones too. In fact, that one's green. You can color these. But you have to use a Stampin' Blends. You have to use an alcohol-based marker. If you use any of the regular markers, it just rubs right off. So you have to use the Stampin' Blends if you plan to color them. I highly recommend that. Trust me, I've tried. And they do not stay. You do have to use a Stampin' Blend specifically for that reason. But, you know, if you want to take, like I have one that's cut here. I kind of cut it for that card I had posted the other day. But, you know, you can cut it, kind of make it look like that. You can add this. Where's the end? Right there. I can see the end. You know, you can wrap this around it. If you want to make it, you know, pretty. Oh my gosh, there's so much you can do this. And like I said, you can use the DSP. Any of the DSP that we have. The one in the catalog under the mistletoe, I think is what it's called. DSP that's in the annual catalog. You know, cut a strip off and put it on the side. You do not have to make these extreme. They can be as simple or as elaborate as you want. That is totally up to you. I just wanted to make that point out there. So, isn't that cute? You know, make it a little wish list and write it all out. And, you know, and you can, if you want to, you know, fray the edges or whatever to make it look more like a paper, you know, it's, there's no limits on this. It is so easy. Please understand how easy this is. For the numbers, I actually have some wood veneer numbers I had bought a few years ago. A company was selling them out and I bought them. They're 1 through 31 and they're beautiful. But you can use anything for the numbers. You can write the number on there. We have a couple stamp sets that have numbers. You can stamp it. That's easy enough to do. You can use like what is our, a 1/2 inch circle punch and stamp the number in the middle, you know, and put those on for each day. You can do them different colors, keep them all the same colors. Doesn't matter. Just believe me that this is completely, is all up to you. So I'm going to go ahead and flip the camera back. That Santa's so stinking cute. I really like him. Oh, I got to get off that page. I need to put my camera back up. Camera. So you see me and not what I was looking at. Okay. So, I think it's back to me. I hope it's back to me. It is. Haha. I'm learning. I just have to check because my phone is so far behind. Turn that on my face. I have a lot of lights that shine down at my desk so that I get because I like it bright. I don't like shadows of when I'm doing stuff, and so I just like it bright. Okay. Look at little Santa. He's cute. He shimmers. He's so adorable. Okay, so I hope you liked that. Learned what, if you didn't know what a December daily was before, now you do. If you have any, you know, if you're a demonstrator and you have customers who ask, hey, what is a December daily? I've heard about this December daily thing. You can explain to them, hey, this is what, you know, what I do, you know, or you know, YouTube is endless on December dailies. Trust me, I have looked at them all. It's really cute. You can use the cute little, all those little things I cut out. You can put them on there too. That'd be adorable. That little one I made that's going to look like mistletoe, it could hang on there. That's adorable, actually. So, and trust me, I have a whole pile, probably saw it in the other video, of these things that I, you know, cut out, punched it, and I try and put together. So, you can put those all on there as well. So, that's it for today. I just wanted to show you what a December daily was since it starts up this Saturday. Ooh. Also, the promotion today and tomorrow are the last day for the Snowflake Showcase promotion with Stampin' Up. If you haven't, go to my blog. You can click on any of the blogs. I've listed it for the whole month to see what it is, or you can go to Stampin' Up, see what it is. About it, I am running my own special promotion that if you buy the 4 things that are four things, there was 5, now there's 4 things that are left, the 2 stamp sets, the thinlits, and the embellishments. If you buy all 4, I am sending you an exclusive kit and video on how to make 6 cards, 2 each of 3 designs, and I include all the supplies to make them, except for the things that you use, like the embellishments. Except for the white velvet paper, you're gonna have to kind of, I'll have to, I have some that I can put in for you to use, which I'll probably do, but because that sold out quick and I knew it would. So, but there's that promotion. It's only today and tomorrow. After tomorrow, it is gone. It is not coming back. They will not be selling any of those items anymore. And trust me, these Snowflake Thinlits are worth it enough. I mean, those things, oh my gosh, you get so many. There's so many that they're, you know how I put my Thinlits and stuff inside my stamp cases? I showed that the last time I did a live. How I do this. There was enough to do 2 of these. You get 24, I think it is. 20, something like that. Of the Snowfall Thinlits to do, you know, so, and they're in each of the 2 stamp set cases that go with it. So you get a lot. So it is a really good deal. So I highly recommend that. So, I will be here next week. I am going to be showcasing the Stamparatus because starting on the December 2nd, I believe it is, customers are going to be able to order the cute little pouch. Mine's on its way. The cute little pouch that the Stamparatus fits into. So I'm really excited to see that. You've probably seen it on YouTube. Other demonstrators already have theirs and have been using it. But I'm going to be showcasing how to use that. How to use the Stamparatus with stamp sets. I think I'm going to show how to make a wreath, kind of like the one I did, but stamped. The different stuff that Stampin' Up has showed us how to use a Stamparatus. So come back for that. I have now changed my live times to 4 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. It's a little easier on me. Things that happen during the day, it's easier to have it at 4 than it was at 3. Depending on where you're in the world, it's just an hour later. So whatever you were watching before, this is just an hour later now. And I did show once on Facebook where you can go in to find out where events are. I can't do that Oh, I can't because it's not on the thing. Next week I'll show you how to check times for events. If you have signed up for an event and say you're going, you just click on your page, you just click events and all your events will show up. Do not click on the event itself. If you click on the event yourself, you will not see the time that's in your area. But if you see the page that lists all the events that you're going to, it will show next to it the time it is in your time zone. It's the easiest way to do it. But don't click on the event itself because you won't see it and then you're wondering, okay, if this is in Australia, what time is it here? That's the easiest way to do it, is don't click on the event, just click on all of your events, the event tab that's on the side. You click on that and it will take you to all your events that you've registered that you're going to go to, and it will show you right next to the little thumbnail of the event, it will say the time. So that is the best way to figure out what time something is in your time zone. So remember that next Thursday, that's my gender day. I'm going to find out. So if I'm a few minutes late, that's why. I haven't gotten back because it's at 1 o'clock in the next town. That's 30 minutes away, and so if I'm I'll let you guys know if I'm going to be a little late or something. But but that's happening the same day. So I'll have hopefully some good news. The baby will show us what it is. I'm kind of hoping for a little girl because I have 2 boys and no girls. So I'm kind of really hoping for a little girl. So we'll have to wait and see, but I'm really excited. So I will see you then next Thursday. Oh my gosh, I don't remember what day it was. And of course my phone, I have to switch off. Go to my calendar. December, I'm good with time. December 6th at 4 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, 3 Pacific, 5 Central, 6 Eastern, and then from there you guys can figure out the rest. So alrighty, have a great afternoon. If there's anything you saw that you liked today that you want to order, go to my web page, www.juliegt.com. Right here on my Facebook page, there is a Shop Now button. You can click there. It will take you straight to my shopping page with Stampin' Up. And I thank you very much for watching. I hope you had a great day, and I will see you guys next week. Bye-bye. Hopefully I can get this turned off real quick. Oops.